need someone to talk to and you don't know what to do, call us 214-4400 when you're feeling all alone and they turn their back on you. Call us 214-4400. Call us 214-4400. Call us 214-4400. Call us.
You're listening to the Kind Counseling Podcast. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Now back to the show. Welcome to the Kind Counseling Podcast. It's your host, Dania Roberts, and we're here for another monthly podcast. And I just want to welcome in my two co-hosts, Brother Alan. How are you doing, sir?
Great, brother. How you doing?
Good, man. Good to see you. And my wonderful wife, Miss Dania Roberts. How you doing?
Doing very well, thank you.
All right. How you guys doing with the cold weather and the flu and all that stuff going around?
I've been fine.
Y'all been fine? Everybody else speak to the sick.
I'm feeling good with it.
Okay.
I'm fine. Didn't get nothing.
Okay, good. So today we have a special guest for you coming all the way from Georgetown, Guyana. Right. We have Miss Jennifer McLean. She's joining us today, and we just want to welcome her. Hello, Jennifer. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
All right. Okay. So Jennifer, we wanted to talk to you because we know you have a very inspiring story, and we just wanted our audience to really just hear about your story. So if you could just tell us a little bit about like yourself, your background, your upbringing, things like that. Just to start, if you could just tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, sure. Well, it was already said, but before I became Bisnorth, I was Jennifer Caesar. And then I got married. I survived in it for 43 years as Bis.
You survived.
And I had to make that choice, stay and fight or take a flight. And I took a flight after trying my best for 43 years. However, my background of which I am coming from is one which speaks of God and what he says, that all things do work together for good. I am coming from a background of, it was 18 of us, my mom and dad, laborers. Then it became 12 of us, of which I'm the sixth. Impoverishment was the order of the day, but it was normal for us because children doesn't know anything other than what adults teaches them. As a result, everything that took place in our lives as kids was normal until, I want to be specific about me, growing up where I was sleeping on that floor. I always felt different, and my mother always identified me as the different one, and I have grown up to become a different one. I joined the youth corps when I was age 15. During that interview, they asked me what I was, a little girl like me, what I want to go there for, and I broke into tears, and I said to help my mother with my brothers and sisters, and her too. And while there, I start to relearn stuff. I start to discover who I am. And I also was really guided, protected, and nurtured during the time by a lot of persons. While there, I have also been able to start seeing, because when you come from a background, it may not happen in everyone's family, but when you come from a background like mine, with so many of us, and your mom is out there hustling, your father is not there, a lot of things are missing. It may not be the hugs, it may be education, of which we suffered a lot We were deprived. We were given just what they had. We were deprived of that. And of course, growing up, you start to see the need. Some of us decided to change it, guilty. And some of us continued that cycle. So I became a revolting door of the negative. Thank to God, I have changed it all. And I'm still a work in progress. But the main thing of which I want to share is the fact that despite of where you come from, there's always the possibility in your future of cycle, a space that you can change anything.
Okay.
So coming from a background of poverty and so much pain, disappointment and everything, I was able to rise above it by putting God first, of which my mother taught us. There wasn't a complaint we would have made to mommy about children in school or the neighbors' children that would call us name that she wouldn't say, come kneel down and pray. Tell gentle Jesus, and Jesus gonna make the person doesn't do it to you anymore. So my small days was very sad. But it was happy, like I said. For us, it was normal. Sleeping on the ground. I don't have a sheet, but the crocus bags, we used to call it then, the rice bag, they would call it the knitted brown bag for us. Imagine 11 or 12 of us racing to get our bags because you're in your undies alone and you put it on, you cut a neck, you cut two shoulder. Mommy or daddy in doing that, we invented our own comfort and we would put ourselves in that. That's what we slept on. Also, it was like a clothes for us.
Okay.
Had 8 girls and 4 boys that lived. And when we were invited to children's party, this is very important. She had like 3 or 4 underwear, we would call it now, but panties then. And she would sew them with her hand. So some of the legs and cut it with whatever. If she get knife or scissors, which she didn't have, or razor blade, she would cut the legs. But some of us were more chubby. Like me, they used to call me shrimps. That was my call name because I was pretty fine and cut the right? And on cutting the legs, I can share my story now without crying. I could not have faced it years ago. And she would cut the legs and she would say, full GT style, 3 you go at the party and come back quick and let your 3 sister put them on. So 3 of us would go to this party and we happy, we getting gifts. And we run back home happy. When I say happy, that's all we knew. Other 3 sisters put on and they go and we were like that. And life is one which you can never predict, especially if you're willing to work hard, especially if you find that you're becoming wiser based on who you surround yourself with, especially if you understand a sound grounding. For me, I realize that in Christ. And you're able to associate a lot of that, what is appropriate in the scripture to your life, like reassurance, this too shall pass.
Okay.
When you look at things like that, it comforts you like, mommy, I know this gonna pass. Yeah, baby, this gonna pass. Jesus is not gonna let you punish like this. So it meant so much for me to be able to share my story now. And I want to go back. After leaving the youth corps, I saw the national service in the papers, and I decided I couldn't cope in my family environment no more. Remember, I have been out there, the first one too, to get what we're gonna say, a job. So I'm there working to help my mother. I have discovered a better life according to the environment of which I was in. Coming back home, everything seemed wrong. Remember, there, tea, breakfast, dinner, bed, everything up to date. People teaching you how to be clean, how to be, routinized with certain things. Coming back home, it was then it registered that no, I can't live like this. So after hearing about the national service, again, I became unconsciously institutionalized because I feel safe in that environment. So I went into the national service. That was a story. Mr. Mona, he got on to me and he said, Jennifer, you would do well in the national service based on all your training you got in Youth Corps and how you excelled. Would you accept it? And I said yes. And they sent me a letter telling me to join them at National Park. Well, that was a story. On that program, they had like 200 and something persons.
Okay.
Of which 7 Guyana scholars were there.
Okay.
And when I got there, I'm like, are they sure this is for me? I don't have that. I have a birth certificate. That's it. So again, I went in, they said falling, I was there, and they had these big paper and they calling people's name and sending them in the truck. So I felt out of place because they're calling their name and the qualifications, and I kept pedaling back. I said, I gotta run. When they reached to me, they realized I am not qualified academically. So I kept pedaling back, dropping back, dropping back. And out of the blues, when they were finished, the guy that was calling names said, all of y'all there, because it wasn't me alone. It was not me alone. All of y'all there, look, all of y'all look, born, I'm giving y'all the opportunity. I'll go and change your life. And that was my life-changing moment. And I got into papaya. Of course, I don't know. Honestly, sometimes I look back and I was like, how did I do this? But it turned out where I did what my mother taught us. Work hard.
Yeah.
Keep going. Respectful.
Okay.
Punctual. If it's one shirt you have, keep it clean. Always keep yourself clean. Show respect to everybody. And it helped. It helped because I worked so hard and I never knew that I was assessed. What I did too, when they would have all these programs, neo-colonialism, colonialism, and teaching all these big programs of which Burnham at the time has implemented for us, I knew my strength. I knew my weaknesses. I accepted them. And I think that is what helped me too, because I used to volunteer for everything that I could have, never realizing that all those things were giving me marks compared to the ones that would have had the degree and the this and the that and don't want to cooperate, don't want to do this. So and then I became actively involved in culture.
Okay.
Of which Mr. Burnham had gotten to know me. He would send his chopper sometimes. That's how much involved I was to get me from one center to do entertainment for him at another center. I don't want to miss the main meat of it. Eventually, on graduation day, when they called out the best all-round female, hi, here she is. And they said the best all-round male, it was a guy by the name of Roger Denny.
Okay.
And, from there, I never stopped accepting my weaknesses, which was more academic, and I went on doing little programs, baby steps. And before I knew it, I was able to go on to university. I was able to go do Critchlow Labor College. And then, of course, my whole abilities came up more and more. And I was recognized in many, many ways. I started to train officers. I was identified to go on officers program. And then I went into what I love doing, which I'm going to bring you to, counseling.
Okay.
That's
Jennifer, why. Hold on 1 second. Just before you get into counseling, let me, because you said a lot that I got a lot of questions. All right. Yeah. You especially with in terms of growing up in you said in with a lot of brothers and sisters. I think you said 12 brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
And in poverty, like did you feel that when you were a child, like you were missing something?
No, it became normal.
Mm.
It was so, remember, we don't, when we go to school, we
Right.
children with sometimes slippers. We don't have on slippers, but it wasn't we alone who did not on slippers. So certain things,
Mhm.
we saw it as a normal thing for children.
Okay.
However, the time they had butter, and I could remember my butter slipper,
Remember that.
the toe piece.
Right.
It happened so many times and burst off that it didn't have anymore. So I had to go barefooted. And my mama, I said, Mommy, me slipper finish and me want to go to school because them children gonna call me false name. And she said, look, you see that neighbor over there? She called me yesterday and told me she wants she step scrub. But if you go and scrub it, whatever money she gave you, I gonna put the rest and buy you a butter slipper. I said, Mommy, you sending me? She said, yes. And I went there and I scrubbed this step. I got my money. Mommy put the rest and I wore my butter slipper.
Okay.
So
All right.
me, it wasn't until I got into a different environment
Right.
that I
Right.
realized that that wasn't normal, that parents supposed to make your children feel safe, make
Right.
education, they provide us for everything. So
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. When I got back home and saw how they were living, I felt odd. And then they start calling me names now.
Mm.
They
Okay.
call names.
Okay.
Who, remember we like, wah, bah, bah. And then I went into this environment that polished that, I should say.
Mm.
Coming back home and saying, good morning. And it's like, don't play with she plays, she's white girl. So it was pressure. Man, look, this thing is crazy. However, what I discover is that I took 5 of my brothers and sisters into the environment of which I really wanted to help them enjoy that change.
Wow.
Because there was this one sister I didn't even know more. She got kids, then they had this rabbi, that Rabbi Washington, went to Guyana, influenced them, sell your house, give me this, give me that. Their
Right.
little sister giving you money every religious month to buy a big tin of coats. We had coats for
Right.
kids, but instead of you doing that, you would give Rabbi this money
Mm.
Mm.
Okay.
and
Rabbi Washington. I
left
remember that.
without. So it was a case where I became the breadwinner for my mother and everybody.
Mm.
For me, I always linked it to who I am. Like, I never felt it like a burden.
Right.
Saw it as a responsibility
Mm.
for some reason. But when I took 5,
Is that the way in which you said your mom told you or made you feel like you were different? Okay.
yeah, she made me, since I was 15, I looked at her until she died at 89.
Mm.
So it's like everybody makes me feel as if I am the one to help them through whatever. And I easily accepted it. And it never made me felt uncomfortable.
Okay.
I always feel helping people is like a fulfillment in me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It make me feel like a burden, like a cross, like no. It's like if I don't get to help somebody, I feel awkward. And that's the right word.
Mm-hmm.
Awkward.
So you accepted that role.
I accepted that role and I went on. But then it came from my sisters to my sister children and my sister's children. You get it?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
At that
Right.
point, you have to set a boundary.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because when would you be able to do for you if this is not ending? And they wouldn't end it. I can tell you that I am the one that have to end it, of which I really pull the plug. But also in that journey, what I discovered, knowing you have so many persons depending on you, it propelled me to do better, do more. Because remember, people need, do more, you got people need, do more. I
Can you share with us some of the ways in which you were helping your family?
I was helping them with school because, trust me, I saw that and still see that very, very important. So once well, not the big ones, but the kids, I make sure, listen, I ain't doing this unless it's school. I make sure the rent ran up. Like my sister, I walked in, or she had this big stomach, she pregnant, and she sat there crying with a baby in her hand, and one sitting on the stairs just came out on vacation. What happened? I get put out. Why? I ain't get money for pay rent. How much? So much. And God should have it just the same amount I got after staying away a couple months. That was her rent. Guess what I did? I give it all to her to pay the rent. Because why? I got to stay in the same environment too.
All right. All right.
Like my sister, when I couldn't do the 5 pound coats anymore, I looked at her, big sister I tell you about, and I said, I didn't even, I was scared to even tell her. But I said, I don't know if you want to get a job. And she said, yeah, but I can't let Rabbi know. I said, okay. And I went to my officer in the National Service and I asked him if he would take a sister of mine, by then crying, to even cook. And he said yes, and he took her in.
Okay.
Was there. Then I took in she, Annie, Fiona, Patsy, Kennedy. Yeah, 6 of them I took there. So remember now, my mother made 12 alive left, and I took 6 there along with me.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
And this was another point. My mother married out the first set of girls pretty young, 13 and 15. That was because that was like, I married y'all out because me why y'all bring belly give me and then I got mind them. So she shift her responsibility to the hands of people that, what could have been the parents as far. Now I'm older. I really now I've been able to relearn stuff.
So your sisters were 13 years old when they were given in marriage to grown men? That's what you said?
Huh?
You said your 13-year-old sister was given to a grown man for marriage?
45. He was 45.
Wow.
He was 13 and he married. They're married. And my sister, when she's going through stuff, it hurts. It hurts. You know why? She never had a childhood now that I know better. She don't know what is love. You know what is it for a 30-year-old conceived the very night she got married and have to make that baby? It was tough. It was hard. Who understands that? Somebody like me who went on and learned differently. So I am always like crying for her, feels for her because she's 70 something now, but all I'm seeing, it's a child trapped in this grown woman's body. So when others do not understand why she behaves a certain way, I myself gets upset sometimes. But then when I go back into me as a person and how I have learned stuff, I am able to understand and reach out to her and reassure her. But it wasn't easy.
So Jennifer, did your sisters stay married for like a long time?
One stayed, the 15-year-old, she stayed. She got married to 7 Days Adventist family, and her husband was a king cutter. In those days, when you gonna marry that man, believe you me, you really marry your mother, your auntie, his sister. You gotta be like the caretaker and for them children that the sister make, the mother, you gotta wash, you gotta cook, you gotta press the pans, you gotta darn the pans, you gotta get the starch and starched, So it was an accepted norm in those days.
This sounds like The Color Purple. Like when
Let's do something color purple.
when Whoopi Goldberg was her character was a little girl and she got sent to, I don't know if you saw the movie, but go ahead, Jen.
I didn't see it.
Okay, all right, well, go ahead.
But for me, I realized that my mother didn't able with the responsibility that came along.
Mhm,
So I have nieces. If you
mhm.
see me and them, you won't believe. I have nephews, you won't believe. Because my mother children, they were making children while my mother still making children.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? But in those days, it was accepted. I got my daughter, you have your son, you're my neighbor. I telling me daughter early, I want you to go outside and wash because let me tell you, neighbor Darty's son go marry you today, tomorrow. He must see get a good wife and neighbor Darty. So when Sunday was the day when once you never even say hi to this boy, once you see this boy and his mother coming into your mother's yard, you know somebody coming to ask, wanna we?
Oh, wow.
Really?
And if you were in the bedroom and that mother with her son finishes, never say, Bill, and my son is 15 or 18, and I like your daughter was named Pauline for him. It wasn't he liking, it was mother liking. And
Yeah.
he sits there quietly, and then, all right, wait, come in, just like that. Pauline, come. Neighbor says son, neighbor says she like you for your son. You like it, yes or no? Answer me, yes or no? Listen, yes. Let's make arrangement and let her get married. Pauline didn't answer yet. Your mother answers.
Wow.
And before you know it, these two little innocent persons, some survived it for 50 odd years, whatever, and some didn't. In my sister case of the 50-year-old, she stuck out with it. But the others, it didn't last. It didn't last because it's children.
And these were your older sisters.
Those were my older sisters.
Wow.
So you like the youth corps, that was your way out of that.
That was my, you see, you're really probing right.
All right.
Was my means of escaping because I didn't want mommy take me and married me. That was never part of my perception of how I felt and saw myself in this world and in life.
Okay.
So I escaped it there to help them with what was going on. Also, it helped me to like provide for myself so mommy shouldn't see me as a burden. I want to find a man for married me too.
Yeah.
So I got married at 24, and this is an important point.
I'm sorry, can I just ask what year are we talking about?
Just now, 19, wait, let me see, 56. At least for me, 70.
1970?
Just now, 56.
That far out.
Well, what year were you born, Jennifer?
1965.
What year were you born?
1956.
Oh, so it's not even that long ago.
That's not even that long ago.
That far out.
Like,
No, it's not long. I'm telling you.
Oh.
It's not long. It's true. That's
I had a question. Were you was it a lot of females in the youth corps and in the national service?
They had a lot of, no, there were more males everywhere I went. There were more males than females, but my mother taught us. Look, my mother, mommy said, when you turn a young lady, you better don't let boy hold your hand, else you're going to get pregnant. So, there I was. I visited a sister. That time I didn't go into youth corps yet. She was already on her own making children, whatever. And
holding hands.
And she had some neighbors and she called them. She said, look, this is my small sister, and anyone y'all get yourself stupid, y'all gotta deal with me. Remember, mommy told me don't let buy hold me hand. So I left and she sent me in the shop to buy something. And one of these guys held my hand like this and said, little Monica, come here. And I pull away my hand and I run home to my sister. I ran. And
Because you thought you was pregnant.
To me, sister, what happened to you? My sister Monica, I'm pregnant. Since you telling me I'm pregnant. Yes, I'm pregnant. But it clicked on her.
Yeah.
Say, oh, you mean you're pregnant? I said, you friend over there, hold my hand. And before I know it, she pulled me upstairs and she told me it raw. And she brought out her daughter and she said, this is what mommy made happen to me. This is what happened to me. Mommy taught me that same thing. If I hold my hand, I'm going to get pregnant. And this, she said, I don't want that happen to you. And she told me it raw.
Okay.
So I personally, I always share with women
Right.
that do not allow for me, temporary academic limitation in any environment, despite of the capacity of which you're going to be working. Let's say you even have your first degree and they want you to have a second degree. You don't have to go sleeping around with nobody to get into another position. And I always uses myself as that example.
Okay.
Your pride, your dignity, your self-respect, and willing to take baby steps to get where you have to go academically is more important than even the position.
That's good. That's good.
Because I can safely say I'm extremely respected for who I am and how I took care of people's children while I was in the environment of which I worked. And then I became the psychosocial supervisor. Of course, they had the amalgamation of boys' school and girls' school, and I was the first in many things. Sergeant, I came off of my course with best all-around student, 18 years old. That never happened. When I took over the girls' school from the Salvation Army, that's another historical moment, which I don't even think they have registered. They were 80-something-year-old women, 70-something-year-old, 90 years old. I don't know if y'all could remember those years or if you were born then. But, and I was the first to get involved with like drill programs. I was the first in so many things. But the main thing is...
You saying the first woman?
Huh?
The first woman to get involved in these things?
That's drill course in the Army.
Okay.
Strictly for male, but because they saw my potentials of leadership, they wanted me to be in a certain position of which I had to be trained, whereby women don't be in that. And so when I got their Major Hope at the time, she told me, are you sure it's this? Are you sure? And I said, yes. And those women in the Army, they were so nice. They kept applauding me and encouraging me and so on. So when I was finished and everything, then I realized that, you know what, I think I'm more needed in the social work kind of stuff. And because of my background of which I came from, it was very rewarding to move students from good to great. Like I have students who are designers, came out as designers from the boys' school, counselors, police, teachers. I trained them. There's some of them still in contact with me and really thank me for being there for them. And I am happy that I could have changed life, and I am continuing to change life because I use my own experiences. I don't keep it, I share it. And after, this is important, I plan to say it. After I left voluntarily, after 20 years with the National Service, with all that information and ability, and then there was this man, oh God, I'm telling you, man, why would you send me to train? And when I returned to the institution, you telling me you don't want me to do case studies. You don't want me to do case conferences. Don't bring it here. Why you send me to train? Why? So I started to feel underutilized. And just around then, I was like getting all these dreams up here, but when I looked, the money wasn't making it.
Okay.
And I started exploring on the job entrepreneurship. I started to get things credited to the people, collected my money month ends, and they themselves started saying, why you don't bring this? Why you don't bring that in? And it kept building my business until when I looked at my surplus and I looked at my salary, my surplus was like 3 times the amount of my salary. So my dream and goals start to become more real and achievable based on money. So what I did, the personnel officer is Antonio, my good friend. And I am straight. I don't mix matters. If I'm happy, I'm happy. If I sad, I sad. So she and I have that kind of relationship. And she called me. I went into her already. I said, I want to confide in you something. She said, what? I said, I want to left this work, you know. She said, 5 more years. I said, I am promising you what I'm going to show you of my achievement in 5 more years. Here can't give me it. She said, as I promise you that. And I left and I turned 7,000 Guyana dollar into millions.
Wow.
Just by a dream, determination, hard work, sacrifice, and willing to do whatever it takes. And that's why I want to say too, that I do not easily accept people telling me, I'm busy for this, I can't do the, no, if they really want to, they're going to find,
they'll make a way.
Yeah, you're gonna make time for what's important to you.
That's good, Jen.
I'm going to tell you all another secret about me. I don't know how to ride pedal bicycle. But I had this vision of selling icicle custard cool down, and I must ride to National Park and sell it when they have these big activities. And I saw one of my friend's husband riding one of these food for the poor 3-wheel bike.
Okay.
And I looked at him. I said, Rodney, come. He said, hi, Johnny, we're going now. I said, come. I said, give me the bicycle now. Here we are, why you go ride? I said, I'm going to give you a BMX. He said, give me that. I say, yeah, I'm going to buy you a new brown one just for you give me this 3-wheel. Everybody, this thing hard to ride. I said, don't worry, though. I didn't tell you I know to ride. And we agreed. And I bought him a new brand BMX, which is a bike. And I took that 3-wheel bike and your girl, when I got off of work, 3:30 or 4, I think it was then, I home, hurrying to do icicle custard, cool down, this, that. I went, I threw box, I took out a freezer, I started hardening it. I had a neighbor working at Waterworks. I would give her in a bucket to sell for me. I would give the body to sell for me while I doing it. Then I all of these things I tried before I left the job. And I said, you know what, let me go to Puerto Rico. I'm sharing this so people understand why people do not know what people go through to get what they want.
Yeah.
I would jump, and by the way, note this, I was already married. But I learned in my marriage, anyone without a vision shall perish. When you move, I don't want the men on this program to feel bad, but when you move away, sex from some men, they ain't got nothing more to give you. By then, we as women fired up and seeing perception of, I want this for a child, I want a family life for this, my kids must this. And
wait, say that again about sex. I didn't hear that comment.
When you remove sex, some of these men, there is nothing more they can bring to you.
Okay.
By then, you would have gone into this relationship imagining, since you're little like me, when I what a man should be like in my life, how he should treat me, how he should talk to me, how he should be with my kids, how we should be as a family, only to discover the shattered too. And that is when the masculinity in you as a woman, even though you're a woman, for me, this is my expression of it, comes out. So I'm like, what? He can't even, what? No, me children, we me children for can't get a house. Can't, no. And that is what propelled me too. to fire, and I started going to Puerto Rico.
Okay.
And I would buy water from Puerto Rico 4 in the mornings. I would jump on trucks by the Harbor Bridge. You know, as you finish these things, then you'd be like, oh, God, I could have get raped, I could have get killed.
Right.
Her, the fact. And I would fetch it down, drop it in the yard, run upstairs, shower, run on. I go on to my regular job. But when I comes in the afternoon, I grade off these water. I give brothers, I give sisters. I say, yeah, I'll go and sell while I doing Icicle Plus. My children, come here, spell these words. Do your homework. You thing. Come spell and listen in. Sometimes then I orient. You know, so it turns where right now being on this program, y'all wouldn't, I hope, well, I shouldn't say y'all would understand. I know y'all would understand based on the background. I am feeling at home, like once again utilized with what I have.
Right.
So after I left the service and I was so involved with me, vision and achieving for a family, they had a presentation somewhere and somebody asked me a question and I stood up and I answered, and I was identified by Responsible Parenthood Association. They took me over. So I was able to go back into the community and worked with children and women, sexual and reproductive issues, domestic violence, drugs. People like Christine King, she trained me in certain ways. Then social work, organization, then help and shelter. And I was just being grabbed up by all these different places until I reached at a forum where, again, something came up and I had a discussion there, and I was identified by USAID to be trained and to go train women as a consultant. They took me on as educating women for local government election, and I was well paid. I retired from the national service, 5 months, no pay leave, not a cent, just with confidence.
So okay, all right, hold on.
I have a question. So what are your thoughts now with all the stuff that's going on with USAID?
Oh, it hurts. It hurts. That's why I gonna put some old people thing. Stranger and no bearing ground.
What does that mean?
Stranger do not know bearing ground. If whoever, well, not whoever, all we know is who making that decision, knew better, he would never do what he's doing. For me, that thing hurts because I know I worked with them and how much we were doing for. Listen, when I talk to some women, they broke into tears because they never knew, especially when I went on to Essequibo Coast. They used to house us at nice hotels and so on, pay you well, of course. But the delivery of the information changed a lot of lives. And that is what mattered to me. Like when we were finished with a lot of presentation and the final culmination of the conference or whatever, they would say evaluation time. And I always comes off as the best presenter, facilitator, whatever. Always. The last time they made me a nice map of Guyana brooch, and next time a ring. The thing is, I cannot understand why would I deprive the world of being assisted by this one organization that is saying to you, we can give accountability for every cent of which we utilized over a period of time. So it hurts. It hurts. It's personal for me. It's very, very personal. I just always say, I did not been for this kind of weather, I did not hit the street protesting, because that's what I do in Guyana. Everybody knows once Miss Jenny comes, I get things done. That's why I run a program, Jenny in the Place. Things are happening.
You're listening to the Kind Counseling Podcast. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Now back to the show.
All right now.
Well, what kind of program is that, Jennifer?
Jenny, in the place, things
Things are happening. That means you get it done.
I get it done. Be it what's happening, whether I'm out partying, whether I'm at church, whether I'm in a back dam feeding children, which I do 200-300. That is important to note. Out of my own pocket, from a child who never had, to a child can mobilize. I can be here. And I just call up 4 or 5 with children and say, Auntie Jenny coming home, tell them children I got a party. And you don't have space in my yard for them. And that's important too. I don't like to talk about it, my what must I say? My achievements. I like to talk about my personal development. If you listen to me, you didn't hear I say, I buy a car and I buy it. No, my personal development is what is in me going to help me to enjoy what was provided out of me.
Yeah, yeah.
I have 2 kids. My son, he have his master's, his civil engineering.
Okay.
My daughter is doing excellent. She did her degree in mobilization. And I'm proud to share my story for people to understand. All it takes is identifying, that's the first part to change, accepting, second, and do something about it. You have to do something about it. So with USAID going through what they're going through, I am feeling their pain. I'm feeling the shock. If you look at these people, they're shocked, they're confused. I don't know how those in authority is feeling doing these things, but for me, it hurts. It hurts
Well, I think the theory is that the money that's provided isn't being provided to the services that they're saying they're being provided. I guess that's the broad scope of it. Like what's going in and what's being said it's being spent out isn't actually what's being spent out.
Oh, well, you see, you're giving me some clarity, because for me, it's like, why would you shut down somewhere that is helping so many persons? But now,
well, that's what I'm. Well, if they're coming and they're helping you, right? They may be coming and they might be helping you with, let's say, a $40,000 budget. But if they're doing a $3 million budget, then that doesn't add up. So I think
that doesn't add up at all.
Well, I think that's where a lot of the issues are falling into a lot of programs.
Oh, no.
Where's the money that's being going? Where's the money that's being provided? Where is that money actually going to? I think that's the problem.
But if that is the problem, isn't there a better way to do it? And we identify who we really have to have them accountable and answerable, and probably get rid of those or take whatever necessary action than dismantling the entire. Anyhow.
Well, I don't know how you fix that. I don't know how you would fix that, but I think that's what the problem is with a lot of these programs. And it's, you're taking taxpayer money, but then where is the money actually going? And if you can't provide exactly where the money is going, then it is misuse of government funds, and then it becomes misuse of taxpayer money.
Yes, definitely.
Right.
And the ability for the funds.
Right.
And back to this, when I was offered this opportunity to be on this podcast, I feel so good, because it's like I feel utilized once again. And as to what I have been doing, I retired back home, and this is a good story too. One day, when you get older, you buy your dream vehicle and you say, good, I done here. And I did my dream vehicle, apparent to me. And I driving, and something said, park the vehicle and play the Visa lottery. And I parked the vehicle and I gone upstairs to the girl. She was about to lock the last window. I said, baby, don't lock the window. You get out for play, because I know I go win the lottery. And she held the window and she said, you're so positive. And she pushed it open. She said, we're about to close, but you're so positive, I'm going to listen to you. And she sat and she said, tell me about yourself. And then when I told her, she said, you got all these evidence to prove it? I said, yes. She said, bring it tomorrow. And we sat there and she sent through the application for the Visa lottery. And I'm a recipient of that.
Okay. All right.
And I'm a recipient of that. And coming here,
Mm.
when you don't have a particular, well, I've learned that hard to support. You grab whatever. And one of the things I learned is that everybody got their own experience and we all are different. And our individuality helps us to have a different perspective on the same identical situation, topic, or whatever.
Mm.
And there's where respect comes in. Just respect people for that in order not to have conflict. I'm okay, you're okay. On coming here, everybody made me felt. Honestly, this is true. Everybody in America doing home health aid. That's how they made me felt.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, that's what they do. So on coming here, and a friend reached out to me, coupled with the fact I came here with who is my ex now. And oh God, anyhow, when I was offered this training,
Right.
laughing, his wife laughing,
I'm laughing at how you say that. I'm laughing at how
It's the way you said it.
they want a girl. Anyhow, um, I had that choice of which I made to become a home health aide, but I'm well respected and loved, so too. And to escape a lot of what I was going through at the time with my ex, I took living.
Wow.
Yep. And
Wow.
and when I thought living was escaping him, living was helping him to become comfortable in my home by living with somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
However, keeping focus is important. I came here with a bill from Scotia because I invested a lot for World Cup cricket, because I don't live too far from them. When they started with World Cup cricket in Guyana, I invested a lot. I'm like that. So I came here with a big goal in mind. 3, get my kids here, pay off this mortgage that told me I got to keep paying till I reach 80. I worked out the maths, and if I should stick to the living, I should finish it in 2-3 years, 17 million. In them time, that was a big, big money. And I did just that. So when I saw people on the road, I would be like, oh, all these people on the road, were they working? It wasn't until I was able to say, this is enough. I've achieved my goal. I've achieved what I really came here for. Then I realized that, no, I could have gone back and get credit and go into the social work with these children and so on. By then, I had achieved my goals. Who cares? You know? So here am I with you guys when I was given this opportunity, and I spoke with the CEO, which I want to call him that. And it was in keeping with me and my background and so on. That's the first thing caused me to say yes. Yes. And then I was talking with his father, and he was like, oh my God, Jennifer, oh, listen, I'm going now and call my son. Oh my, I have a son, blah, 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 and his wife, blah, blah, and you have to be on this program. Oh my God. So, and that's a little while ago. So when your husband called me, I was like, who is this?
What took you so long?
So here I, with you guys, feeling once again utilized and not underutilized. And I'm happy to be here. I feel special that I can share as deep as I've shared, and you still have not heard half of my story. But behind every glory, there is a deep story.
Yeah, for sure.
But Jennifer, I think that you know, sometimes like when people reach a certain age, we kind of feel like they're useless, or we just put them in a corner or something like that. But when I'm listening to you, it's like the information that you have is so valuable that young people need to hear these stories so
Yeah.
that they
Yeah.
don't make the same mistakes, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a lot of young people that would call an auntie, real biological nieces and others. Auntie Jenny, oh my God, my life. At all Auntie Sybil's children, which is all my brother. You, since I growing up, I say, I want to be like you. And
Mm.
children have been excelling nicely.
Okay.
All those who say, and I would say to them, I said, come, I know
Mm.
that you would love to be like auntie. I said, but guess what? There is always room for improvement.
Mm.
Do better than auntie.
Mm.
That space in that circle gives you the opportunity to do better. When I go home, some kids come up to me, baby in the hand, Auntie Jenny, oh guy, only yesterday I asked him, Mommy, when last month she see Auntie Jenny. How I glad to see you, Auntie Jenny, every day. I just say, I want to be like you.
Mm.
Those kind of things are important because guess what? Many of those kids don't know where I came from to be who I am today, that they want to be like me. Sometimes when I go into school in Sue's Dyke to hold discussion with teachers,
Mm.
reproductive talk or whatever, some of them, Miss, I want to talk in front of these ladies. When before you leave, let's go at the back. And those people are still in contact with me.
Mm.
You know, so in everything we do, there is somebody that is watching you.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're watching, and many times they want to be like you, but if you can only reach out to them, because everybody have that confidence. Some of them feel intimidated just by wanting to get a hug from you.
Mm.
You know, the other day, like I think I shared before with you, I walking in the park, I saw a mother with two kids. I brought them at my home. I don't know them. They're from Jamaica. But like I said to you, in me, that's how I feel about people.
Mm.
Oh, asking me, she's called me the earthly flesh angel. She is now, Auntie Jenny, we can come back by you because all over we go, everybody a treat we like this and that and that.
Mm.
It is not possible. I don't have that kind of opportunity right now because I didn't mention this. I don't mention it. And this is going to really make you realize that whatever are your dreams, don't label your age and say, me, look at me done all already. What me want with the? I wonder because I still feel that there is that part of me that
Right.
I need to enjoy while I'm alive based on whatever is left of my life. I'm
Mm.
not married again.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Oh boy.
Congratulations.
And
Congrats.
treated the way in which I should have been treated. I'm
Mm.
loved, I'm being respected, I'm being supported
Mm.
in the manner in which I should have. Again, when I go to me mother and say, Mommy, he sleep out. Hear me mother tell me, girl, better not there.
Mm.
I left your husband, Mommy. You know, you get a child. So what you gonna do? Left your husband for that?
Mm.
Push up themselves to eat. Now left your husband. This is real story, I tell you, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mommy, you don't see all we doing me in Guyana here. Now I get you for go to the States. Me want carry. Where you left for me for? Carry him. He go get good over there. Good over there. So it
Mm.
turned out where my significant other, the person that I depended on, and she did what she knew. She shared what she thought was right.
Right.
You
Right. Right.
ask the naked, where is thy clothes?
Mm. So, okay.
Wow.
That's
Wow. What is wow, I'm speechless. I'm usually not speechless.
Listen, I just want to say, keep sharing your story, Jennifer,
Yes,
because you
yes.
said you gave us so many nuggets today, and you said so many things that resonated with me. Um, I love your story. It's for me just a story of resilience, just a story of determination, just a story of your past doesn't define you.
Amen.
And so, just keep doing what you're doing and keep sharing that story. I just want to say to you that more platforms will open up for you so that you have the opportunity to do that.
Yes.
Because people need to hear that where you come from doesn't have to define where you're going.
Exactly. And I'm happy that you guys sees it exactly how I see it. Resilience, determination, acceptance. It all starts with us and ends with us.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Jennifer, we need more guests like you. Who just so you're just so transparent and everything's just
yeah. And we didn't even have to ask you that many questions.
Right.
No, because once I feel comfortable, if I wasn't, I would have said hello. I feel comfortable with you guys. That's why I had a program with a young lady, Winter, and it's Sisters Heaven. But I'm at that stage. This is the only stage of aging I would never change. I want to do when I want, if I want, how I don't want nobody come telling me every Saturday 6 o'clock. No. When I want, if I want, how I want. If you guys says to me, Jennifer, how about next month, the 25th? And I say, it's okay. But look, I am in demand, supply and demand. Man, serious. Saturday, if it was Friday, Saturday, people is have me for MC at their occasion. Who wants me to be a part of the occasion? Just come, Jenny. Just you're present. Just come. So there are times when I have a whole list of social interactive things that may not allow me to be on programs like this. So when she talked with me, I told her, I said, I do not want to feel like I am in a job. My job as a home health aide, oh, I love it. Because I take 4 hours with you, and as soon as you start, my time is up. I go on to another patient for 4 hours. By the time you start, it's time for me to come home in my sacred sanctuary. So it's working for me. And I told them I don't want Saturday and Sunday. I used to work 7 days a week, Sunday to Sunday. I stopped that. So now for somebody to come into my space of which I decided I want, for you to tell me every Saturday and then on this and that, no. It's not going to work for me. And I talk it early o'clock. So since I started, I told you that I don't want nothing making me feel as if I'm working. And it fell apart because even Jenny in the place, things are happening. I do it when I want, if I want, how I want. I don't care about Facebook and the $10 or the $50. That's who I am.
Boost. You don't want no boost.
No, I want, if I want, how I want.
I gotta put down a t-shirt.
When I comes on, people follows me. Like go home and they had this big flood before they know it. People came and did the street because I publicized it. I got different things that happen. Like a young lady right now, I'm dealing with that in Grove. A truck hit her down, broke up all she pelvic, everything. And the police don't say they can't carry the man to justice until the child could walk. What madness is that? But follow up a lot on it because I left shortly after. But this is my story. And I am the rightful author of my story.
That's right.
They put in nothing taken out. Like my daughter bought me a book for my birthday. Mom, I would like to hear your story. Please tell me your story.
Okay.
The book is, but guess what? When I tell him each year me story, it'll be like, Mommy, me want to hear though. Oh, well, how you there, sir? It's just because I am like this. I worked for it.
Mm-hmm.
I decided I didn't want that, and I did something about it.
Yeah.
And whatever the changes you want to see, like this is another good story. Oh God, look, when you see me running around, it's not me too cheering, you know. It's people pick me. Like I was going to Peter's Hall School behind a niece and nephew, and I said to them, anyhow, I sat at a PTA. They thought about, is the headmistress confirming the other day? But 400 or 500 children. But just 30 of us sat there for PTA. Something was said about folk. Oh God, she should be the principal, she should be the president of the PTA. Before I became the president of the PTA, before I know it, the school didn't have space for parents.
Oh wow.
All because I flipped the script of blaming the parents. Y'all have to do better with these children. Y'all know what the parents going through. Y'all know my story when I got me daughter sit down on me leg in the bus and saying, spell comfortable. Because that is one of the words at St. Margaret's where she used to go. She had to learn to spell while I'm making icicle custard cool down. Y'all ain't getting it up to now that some of these men taking up space, me and KD2 on them. Now, white are single women. They channel, honey, you come home, we're cooking for dinner, and you there home since 4. I just coming in 7 o'clock because I'm going to school, plus I'm going to work, plus, come on. So, we have to get this thing straightened out. We got to stop making the mothers. And so the mothers were motivated in the fact of which I approached it. I said, all of you are doing excellent. Doing wonderful with your children. All of you are giving to your children what you did not get. Yeah. I said from today, tell your friends that Jenny is going to change this. All of them. Samais came a time he was late. He ran late. And they asked me to give the charge to the children with what a common entrance. And he eventually came up the stairs and he listened from the stairs. He came in and he commended me. Because words, miss, let me tell you, words are powerful.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
The most powerful thing God gave to us. And he spoke and things came alive.
Yeah.
Believe in that.
Yeah.
I don't play. Anything I tell people, anything I want, I get. Of my perception, because of how I see life, view life, that's how my life unfolds.
Yeah.
I am not withholding any part of my life that could be of success to somebody else's life. This world have a place for all of us. It's like Facebook, this body picking and the body picking. Well, Jenny don't get pickings because I tell him I don't show half, I show all. I don't get pickings.
Oh my God.
Like I got see you exhausted. You never met one like me, right?
No, it's refreshing.
No, it's refreshing.
It's very refreshing.
The story, Jennifer. I mean, listen. You got one more story before we go?
I have stories. Oh, and when I found the first child in my marriage, she was a year 9 months. Now she's an RN. I love that child. I treated her with so much love and respect. Even when he's saying it's not his child, I say, well, it's me own.
Okay.
It was to show the extent of which I was willing to win my marriage. But you cannot be in a boxing ring alone. You don't have an opponent. You boxing breeze.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is a time when you have to take your bow, say wow, and move on. Because if you really want that all things do work together for good, you got to leave.
Yeah.
You have to leave. And you leave standing up for what you believe in. Now when our friend gonna say, girl, you too old for that. Girl, you into... How am I going back to God with all this love I have in me that I never get to give because of how I was treated in the first marriage?
Okay.
Now I'm getting to unleash it because it is reciprocated.
Yeah.
Careful now, careful.
No, must be able to mix and match. If we're going to do a podcast for people to be like, wow, they must hear the whole story many times.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
They must realize, yes, there are bad things that can happen to you even as you grow, but you are now in control of your life. You still have the power to change it. You can take that mark and rewrite your whole story.
Amen to that. Amen.
And I have done that, and I'm enjoying it. And anywhere I go, if I do not leave something positive, then I was never there.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
And that's it for me. Any questions? I am open to it.
I have a question. What is your thoughts on the state of Guyana at the moment?
Honestly, I have not been allowing myself to be too consumed and concerned about the state of Guyana. It affects me, and I put this up on Facebook. And I felt so good when a woman responded and said, Miss Jenny, I know you're not lying, because every time you come home, you do for people. So I put, if I to win the lottery, I would help so many persons, especially the children, because I read it, I just follow this man, Muhammad. And why I would deal with the kids, they are the future. However, she wrote under there, I know you would do that. Guyana is in a state of which I don't follow them, because here why. What would affect, what happens in this country affects the world. What happens, I want nobody to feel bad. What happens in Guyana doesn't affect the world. However, when I go home, I focus on the things that I can have that self-satisfaction and control over, and it's the kids.
what you can do.
Huh?
You focus on what you can do, what you can change.
Yeah, and it impacts their life.
Yeah.
And I don't have to get on to a grown up to tell them I have the children party. Just a few children, and this thing gone like wildfire. Like the children that graduated from common entrance, I took down these beautiful dresses. Every child, I got pictures to prove it, that I could have fitted in one. They fitted and they dressed and they felt so good. They modeled it and so on. For me, self-satisfaction.
Yeah.
I went to Guyana, and after I observed, it's not, you see, many times we blame the establishment, but we are not prepared to establish ourselves. And this is the question. I opened Jenny's Glamour Mama Fashion, and all I wanted women to do, listen carefully, the capital must be honesty. I didn't want no money. Honesty. Out of that business, well, of course, I had employees, like 4, but eventually died, but it stayed alive. I have girls that branched off, and out of that opened their own business. That was the aim. I had at least this particular woman, she came, took like $500,000 things, opened her own little boutique, and she paid back piece by piece until she was, those are success stories.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have women who would remind me, Miss Jenny, you always kept us occupied in doing tie-dye, this, that. I always, people just talk about treating people the way they would love to be treated, but I know, I really do that.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care. So Guyana's situation, you know who would answer you very accurate, very, very high-spirited with that? Honestly, my husband. Sometimes I say, I wish I was politics. It's my vibrant. Once you hear this politics, he on it. He gonna tell you everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for me, I really don't fetch nothing of it, which I should, but it is too much, man. Then this here going on, then it's so much. But Guyana's situation, the only way it can change is if people allow themselves to vote accordingly, or I should say according to what is going to be offered, what has been offered, and what they're sure going to be delivered.
Well, I think that could go for everywhere when it comes to voting.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
This is do for me. I don't care what ethnicity. Do it. Do you know this guy? Well, this part I'm following. Muhammad. When I look at that man and the way he reaches out to people in the little house, I'm like, wow. Many persons are in the same mindset like I do, that it's like, we voting for he, we voting for he, we voting for he, because it's so he wants to be treated. So it is saying that the minorities, based on the situation or whatever category we want to put them, is appreciative and is hoping that a real government can reach that point of where they are. They're very interested in that. Like when I went into schools to hold talk, children turn up at my house 5 in the morning, brother, sex and sister. He in Queen's College, and the sister came from Northwest. Yeah, sexing. What discovered it was wrong? The education of which I delivered.
Okay.
So we cannot put nothing aside and feel they're educated, they know better. No, they're human beings. They got a package and a story in it. Oh, like one of the girls turned a teacher. Why? She was pregnant twice. The first time she got rid of it. The family got rid of it. The second time I came into contact with her, the baby was old. I told her, no, it's not going to be thrown away. We're going to preserve this some way for them to not know, and you're going to graduate YWCA. It happened. She's now a teacher. She got her child. The child should be about 15 years old. That's somebody I really would like to follow up with. Okay. So in everything that we do as adults, I feel we should always try to make sure we imagine ourselves in that situation. And for me, listening to me, I ain't got no imagination. I experience it.
Right.
So because I experience it, I know when to hug and say, babe, come. This gonna pass. This happened to me.
Yeah.
And that is what makes the change in people's life. When there's somebody, like that I said, you see Miss Jenny, you know what the woman husband put you through, you know, but I tell women, hello, if you had the altar and you discover a lie, left them there and walk away.
Okay, I know that's right.
No, saying it, they don't change.
That's right.
The amazing husband and the other guy. Some of them change.
If the shoe don't fit, no.
That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So when you're going to be trying, like you're a mother, of course, there's before we eldest child, which many of us don't realize until when we picking up the socks, the underwear, the anyhow, the fact is we have got to know our role and our purpose. And I would say to women, the Bible says anyone without a vision shall perish. The Lord didn't say whether you're in a marriage, whether you're out of marriage, whether the marriage good, whether the marriage bad, whether the man is providing or not. He said anyone without a vision shall perish. Why am I saying this? Me. When I went into my marriage, I went there with a vision. And I thought that is what it would have been. But it wasn't. One question. Me want to move out from a rent house to another rent house, and me ain't able to go to court because people want the house. They not to be going to live by my grandmother. When I heard that, I said, what? Mommy want to go by your grandmother. Then we go in another rent house. I say, you done. You done it, me. Me talking not more with you, other. Right. I start looking at my newspaper. Out my bath towel in my nightgown, out my nightgown in my bath towel, out my bath towel in my uniform, out my uniform in my bath towel, out my bath towel in my nightgown. Rice and papa and rice and peas, and I save.
Okay, wow.
And soon as I looked in the papers and I saw a property, them times the yellow, those strong, those hard time, but it was best time. $65,000. You girl was able to buy. 28 years old.
Mm.
And you're there right talking about what he could have done. I did it what I could have done. The Bible says,
Did it for yourself.
one
Yeah.
without a vision shall perish.
Yeah.
Jennifer,
So when I saw the behavior starting up and my dreams, I had to fulfill them. I said, you know, Amo, I take enough people on. I got a guy right now in Guyana, flew from Suriname as a contractor doing some work there. I mine from 1 year, 9 months. He's a big contractor now. Send him to Sophia School till he graduated. So I got a lot of good stuff in my name. And I kept that vision of anyone, like a young lady said to me, Auntie Jenny, well, a lot of them calls me Auntie Jenny. I want to ask you a question. How you would feel with your marriage not working out after all them years you wasted? I said, there is where you're wrong. I never wasted a year.
Mm.
Never wasted a year. I said, you should always do. I said, I wanted children. I wanted children. I got them.
Okay.
He wanted my children to grow up in a home of their own. I did it. I wanted academic elevation. I worked towards that.
Mm.
So I never wasted my years.
Mm.
Jennifer,
Years is sitting around and crying and moping and me you see the party and I get in a party to your father in a time. Me not do that.
Mm.
I made sure my vision, what God said, anyone without shall perish. I didn't want to perish.
Mm-hmm.
Jennifer, I got a quick question for you.
Sure.
Right? So as you were doing all this stuff, right? You know, like with the selling, the working, the kids, what was your husband's reaction when he saw how you were benefiting or how you were progressing?
I
What
set the
was his
platform for this question.
Hmm?
I set the platform for this session.
All right.
I deliberately kept that out. Nothing.
Mm.
You're an electrician. And I bought a 2-foot lamp to put up on the outside of this property to give us light.
Right.
And it was laying on the top of the fridge for 2 years plus, with you with excuses why you can't do it. And I got somebody, I paid them to get it done. That's what I'm saying. You do not use excuses to not get things done.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I lived in that. Listen carefully. When I going out to hustle, as we call it, you coming in from the parties.
Mm.
Coming in from the selling levy at 10 in the night, you going out to the parties.
Mm.
And for some reason that didn't bother you.
Mm.
Listen, you haven't, like I said it before, after you would have passed something, then it's sometimes you sit down and say, but you stupid or something. Why are you stuck in that? You know what? When I was stuck in that, do you know how many women I got out of less than that?
Mm-hmm.
I remember jumping on a horse cart and going and rescue one who they cut in she risk in MacDoom and brought her home and put she in a chair in bed to sleep with a child and tell she everything will be okay. You're free to go back to your husband, but remember you wouldn't change. And when I doing that, I had but the same thing or worse going on, but only that I risk.
Wow.
So sometime in healing somebody, people feel you oh guy Jenny come and she give me medicine, but you didn't see Jenny take a sip first before she gave you.
Yeah.
So that's why I can say when I came in many times, you flipping channel, we're cooking.
Mm.
I'm going and cook up, I'm going on this. And one day when I came in, something said, Jenny, you realize this man they're home, healthy, young, waiting for you to come. And some things are going lying in the bed near to you and ask you, where's the picture?
Mm-hmm.
And I threw myself in the bed and I says, well, oh gosh, there's a nice movie. This I'm a hungry bad. I said, there's a nice movies we're showing. Look, like you going and cook. I said, you cook the rice. Listen, when these people take you, at least up me mother step into the matrimonial home, My mother was so strict. If you say sit down, it's sit down. So with his trend of don't do this, don't do that, it didn't take much out of me because I was brought up like that. So it looked to me as though that was the accepted thing. Home by a certain time, better than this. It's after I go and educate myself, then I know them thing is abuse.
Yeah.
Serious.
To a degree, yes.
Right.
Thinking is love, this time is abuse. Listen, I don't want to get vexed now. But it's true. And that's women telling me, Jenny really love me. And girl, look, he calling on my phone. And he's asked me where they're doing. I just say, okay, how you feel about that? Girl, I feel nice. Girl, and next thing, when your mother gonna beat you and bust your head up, bung your eye up, and say, pass and go and bed. Come here before you go. If mommy didn't love you, mommy want to do that. And you end up with a man. Well, he thank God he never touched physically, but emotionally, psychologically, economically, oh Lord. And that's worse. When a man gonna batter you and say, God, get up and go and bed now. I love you, girl. Girl, I love you, else I want to treat you, sir. Guess what? You believe though, come mommy teach you though. So you are now trapped in something that you feel is the norm.
Yes, yeah.
Like when I did some training with some young ladies, and something said to me, ask this particular little child who was very introverted, who is a virgin. And she looked at me. She said, Miss Jenny, you know, you is one of them feel I stupidity. I said, why you say that? You're not stupid. I know you're smart. She said, you know, I know God who's a virgin, but you must feel me, you know. I said, well, that's why I'm asking a question. I know you know. She said, somebody that sex a lot. Really, I stopped what I was doing. I invited she to come and let's sit down and talk with the sex. You know what happened to the child? Since she was but 8, she mother abandoned she at a point. A friend took her home at her, and the husband of the friend used to sexing the child. And when the child finished, she got back and play with your friends. And when I probe into it, she felt there's what all of them in the play group had to be going through. She never did wrong.
Yeah.
So that's the point I'm making from a question of which the CEO asked me about how I felt about poverty then. I feel it's normal because we used to dance. Hello, we had the happiest, safest time of our lives as sisters. Do you know when we started to disintegrate and was at a nagging and stupidity as far as I'm concerned? When you look like you shining more than me. Me home at me going at she till I get me own house. She feels that she better than everybody. And it's a sister that loving you, reaching out to you, bury your child, doing this, doing that. All in the mind. So when you think that it's not happening, it's happening right here. If you look hard enough, you're going to find it right there. And that's why all I do for my children, and I thank God every day, support.
Yeah.
Support.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I give them support. And I tell people every day, in my environment, you want to go back to school, I don't care how you're old, I'm going to help you. Or work. Me environmenting a place of smokers, jokers, lakers. Me, listen, and there's Guyana and everything, not only here. And you see all these people they're knocking about, and it's why one of them good. If my daughter they warn me, my house they full of them. Yeah, she warned me. Because I came from a big family, so enough people around me don't bother me. Once you're honest, there's me thing. Be respectful and honest. I'm not asking for too much.
Right, yeah.
But honestly, that's who I am. That's my story. And I'm thankful for my story because that is what helped me to be where I am today and how I am today.
And it's a wonderful story. It really
Yes.
is very wonderful. What's your Facebook name? I want to be your friend.
You're gonna get me wrong. Jenny in the place things are happening, and Jennifer McLean.
Okay, that's your Facebook name, Jenny in the place things are happening.
That's a page I have, and also Jennifer McLean.
Okay.
McLean is my present title.
Okay. Okay.
And but that's why I put Bisnot.
But when I send you a friend request, accept me.
Well, I have about 500 and something waiting, so send me a text.
She got a big page. She got a big page.
I got plenty people waiting. Honestly, I could tell you, like this evening, I know exactly where I could go out if I want to go out. Okay. Listen, when people put on activities and they get me involved, I have a lot of fun. I'm have fun.
Hey.
How do you spell McLean?
McLean.
Okay.
So Jennifer, listen, we gotta stop, but we gotta get you back in here though.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, your story is like so inspiring, inspiring. Oh my God, we thank you for being so transparent. Thank you.
Yes. More about the civil service stuff, but
what you said?
I said I want to hear more about the civil service stuff, but I know we got to cut this short. I'm a military guy myself, so I kind of want to know more about those stories.
Oh, well,
we're gonna bring you back.
Stories, probably we can talk about it the next time, because if I could have gotten the opportunity to go when they just recruit, especially these young girls, to talk to them, what not to, I would love to do it. One time my name was called so many times in Parliament back home because they were trying to reestablish national service. And one of the persons that they really were thinking to get back there to help our women and children, whatever, me. But I wouldn't, just jump into things like that now, because the truth of it, I would really expose.
See, that's what I want to hear. Okay.
We have to have a meeting off record.
We can have a part two. We gotta call you back.
Yeah.
Well, now I know to use the Zoom a little better. Thanks to the teacher.
Yeah. Jennifer, listen, thank you again, and God bless you and keep using you.
Yes.
You're definitely an inspiration.
Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Right.
It was a pleasure.
Nice meeting you.
Nice talking with you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
If I ever took a loss, I learned a lesson. I won't ever think I'm better than the next man. I've been down before to come up, I ain't stressing. Baby, I'm too busy counting.